Hi, I'm Deana.
And I'm Suzanne, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Rise and Shine It's Hypnotime podcast.
With Deana and Suzanne.
That's us.
The purpose of this podcast is to help you along your healing journey, to become the very best version of you that you can be, and to create the life of your dreams. We want to give you the tools you need to succeed through personal stories, guided meditations, hypnosis, NLP, and self-hypnosis techniques, as well as interviews with experts in a variety of healing modalities, from energy workers and spiritual healers to chiropractors, acupuncturists, holistic medicine, and much, much more.
Yes, and we also want this podcast to be a place where people can come together, share stories, and be reminded that you're not alone. In fact, the healing journey is a lifelong journey, and we are just so thankful that you're choosing us to be a part of your journey and that we have you to be a part of ours as well. And with that being said, let's start the show.
I'm ready when you are.
Hi everyone, Suzanne here, and today we're going to talk about narcissism. If you've ever experienced narcissism in your own life, then you already know how treacherous this type of relationship can be. If you're new to this conversation, however, narcissism is characterized by a grandiose sense of self-worth, of self-importance, a lack of empathy, a need for excessive admiration, and the belief that one is unique and deserving of special treatment. They have a tendency to gaslight and manipulate their victims, making them feel small, never apologizing or admitting wrongdoing, and they will usually try to flip the script and make you feel like everything is your fault. I liken them to a colander that you use in the kitchen. No matter how much water you pour into it, it's never going to fill up, and it's never going to be enough. Dealing with a narcissist can be extremely difficult and painful, which is why we are so excited to have this very special guest on our show today, Michelle Williard Hoffer. Dubbed the Narcissist Slayer, Michelle has dedicated her life to helping victims of domestic and narcissistic abuse. Her work and her story is truly inspirational. And without further ado, let's start the conversation.
Hey, Michelle, it's so good to see you.
Hello, so good to see you too again.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you on the show today, and we're really excited about this topic also. But first and foremost, could you maybe just tell us a little bit about what got you into NLP and hypnosis?
Sure. I think my journey is a lot like other people who go into a helping field, especially with hypnosis and NLP, is I had a pain inside me, and I didn't realize the pain was so traumatic. And I kept denying it to myself because I was conditioned to deny pain and my own emotions, being in a toxic relationship for 30 years. So I went into it by accident. I was going through a very terrible divorce. It was from a person who has narcissistic-like qualities. I can't call him a narcissist because he's not diagnosed, even though
when you know, you know.
When you know, you know. Even though, so narcissistic like qualities, I came to find out because I didn't know what a narcissist was when I was in it. And I was going through this traumatic, horrible divorce, and I was diagnosed with PTSD, and I'm like, no, that can't be me. No. And the judge in our divorce said, we're going to get her help. You know, she's been abused long enough. She sanctioned his attorney and spoke to my attorney privately, not with us present, but with the two attorneys, and then gave my attorney the name of Dr. Charlie Curtis, who is a professional, is one of the best professionals in our field. And so I made this appointment because the judge said to, and I'm like, oh, check, he's not going to be able to help me. And I went to this man, and I unloaded my story. I was crying, doing the whole thing. And he listened, and then he said, "Are you ready for some hypnosis?" And I'm like, "Sure." I said, "What do I do? Do I sit here? Do I close my eyes?" He said, "You can do whatever you want." Did the whole pre-talk. I didn't know, so I closed my eyes because he's like, "Oh, you can do whatever you want. Close your eyes now if you feel like it or not." I'm like, okay.
Was he a therapist or a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist? I mean,
Dr. Curtis is a hypnotist, NLPer hypnotist, therapeutic hypnotist, master trainer. He and Will, Dr. Will Horton, are super close.
Yeah,
and they are yin and yang and like buds forever. Yeah. And so Dr. Curtis gave me my first experience with being hypnotized. And afterwards, he said, "Okay, so how do you feel?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I mean, I had been sobbing. I had really been crying for 30 years. And this was, I said to him, "I never did drugs in high school. I've never been high." I said, "I think I missed out because, wow, I feel like this might be like what high is." Yeah. And he's a passive guy, and he goes, "This is what life is. This is what life is."
It's calm and it's peaceful and it's
blissful. It's bliss. Yes.
So when you went to him, did you intend to become a victims advocate? Like the Narcissist Slayer?
No.
When you became certified?
No, I was going to him to check off a box because I kind of thought I was, they say there's no winning in a divorce. Oh, yes, there is. And so I was just doing what I was told to do. And I was very obedient. Growing up, I was very obedient in my marriage. I was a first grade teacher. I was very obedient. The word obedient, obey, was a big thing in my language, in my neurology. Right. And so she said to do it. So I'm just like, okay. Because I also didn't want a report going back saying, being a first grade teacher, going back to her saying I was not being compliant. And therefore, he is obviously a good husband, like, oh my God. And all these crazy thoughts in my head. So I went to Dr. Curtis, and then he had a group at night. And I live in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Dr. Curtis lives in Wyomissing, Reading, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour away. So I would see my regular therapist here in Hershey. And then I would go to Dr. Curtis, who was a specialist in PTSD. And I would go an hour to see him and then an hour for his weekly group at night, and then an hour home. And I would ask all these questions because I lived in a bubble. If you are a victim of domestic abuse,
you don't know anything but that. Yeah. You don't know anything but what you're living in.
And so I would ask all these questions. And I remember raising my hand in the group. It was a circle, but I still had to raise my hand. First grade teacher. And I said, "Is there anyone?" We were talking about, her name escapes me. The person, it's called The Game of Life. And I can't, The Game of Life. Well, it's all about her. And she's a metaphysicist from the 1900s. And I raised my hand. I said, "Excuse me, is there anyone like this alive today, in modern times?" And the group kind of like chuckled and like, Dr. Curtis. And he sat there and he smiled, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. And here I was already being slowly immersed into it, not realizing, and, like taking the toe into the, like, is the water okay? And so I kept going week after week. And Dr. Curtis finally said, "Do you want training?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. What is it? Again, still not knowing.
He obviously saw that, you were coming to a point where you were being called to this.
Absolutely.
Like it was meant for you. Yeah. Cause you can kind of see that in the personalities, can't you?
Yes, absolutely. And my local therapist, this is off the side. My local therapist, my very first time going to her, said, I was crying, doing my whole thing. And she said, we're going to do some tapping. And she goes, do you know what tapping is? I'm like, no. And she's like, you just follow after me and do what I do. And you can have your eyes open or closed. So she was pretty progressive for Hershey, quite frankly, because Hershey is not this way. And so she starts doing this and I'm doing it. And I had stopped crying, but she's saying words and I'm saying words. And now I'm like, what is going on? This is witchcraft, I think. Oh my God. I was like, and so she, afterwards, she's like, and how do you feel? And I'm like, well, I feel good. I'm not crying because I was sobbing. And she said, do you have questions? I said, yes, I do have a question. I said, what just happened? I said, are you a witch? Do you think you're a witch? And I didn't know. I said, is this witchcraft? I asked a licensed therapist if she was a witch. And she's like, no, but we're going to open your mind.
So your innocence is incredible,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And it sounds like these people were truly such a blessing, honestly.
They really were. That's one of the things. They come into your life. When you start getting rid of toxicity, good people come into your life. I cannot stress that enough. When you start getting rid of the anchors that are holding you down, the good people come.
100%.
That's interesting because that's what I tell my clients. A lot of times you don't have to know what you want to do or which direction you're going. Just, start gravitating towards the things that feel good and feel right and uplift you. And you'll kind of leave the negative behind and you'll find your own path. You don't even have to know what the path is.
Right.
Yeah. When you let go of those things that are weighing you down, it's so much easier to attract the blessings and the beautiful things,
Yeah, it's weird because you actually look at your friends differently, the ones that are destructive or harmful to you. Yeah.
Right.
And so we know that your mission is educating people to soar. So basically from going to a very low, sad, rock bottom place to soaring. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, I am who I am, and I self-disclose this all the time. But at the end of, I didn't know it was the end, but the end of the relationship, there was a terrible, every beating just got worse. And I always thought this was the worst one. And after one really bad beating, I thought, I'm done. No one's going to believe me. I don't know how to get help. I didn't know how to get out. And I thought my friend had died in 2007 from a disease. And I thought, well, I'm ready. She was my very best friend from 5th grade. And I said, I'm ready to be with Chris. I just wanted to be with her. And I had been to what I thought was therapy. You sit there and they do nothing except supply pills, supply pills, supply pills. So tapping was, that's why I thought it was so unusual. And I had a shoe box filled with all these pills that I'd start taking. They didn't work. They, give me something else. Okay. And so all this medicine, I sat on the edge of my bed and I just started taking all the pills and I had water and I was drinking it. And I don't remember much. I don't remember stopping. And 3.5 days later, I woke up in the Hershey Med Center, which is our medical center. I started waking up. And so I wanted to leave this planet. I wanted to be in heaven with Chris because the pain was too much. And I thought no one would believe me. And I started waking up in the hospital and I'm like, I was disappointed. I was really disappointed.
You'd planned on leaving this earth.
I was not going to be here. Yeah. And then I started to open my eyes and he was there, and I'm like, oh, and I just shut them, like, I hope he didn't.
Who was there?
My former husband.
Oh, I gotcha. So that made it even worse.
Those we do not speak of.
The unknown name.
I have a certain name for him. His name is now Ass Face. I had it
Noted. Yeah,
you gotta have humor. You gotta have humor.
Yeah, but that is a horrible situation to be in a place that you don't.
Right. So
and that's the issue. We don't ever want to get to that place, right?
Right. And so I help people go from suicide or this low place, but suicide to soaring.
There you go.
Because I really thought I'd never be better, because I thought it was me. It was, no one would believe me, that my life was just over. And this is what it was going to be forever, because I couldn't see tomorrow. It was dark. It was just like dark. It could be sunshine and dark.
I've heard a lot of times, because there's a lot of judgment sometimes to somebody who stays in a situation that's like that. Mm-hmm. And I've heard often that, when you become victimized like that, that you don't feel worthy of anything better, and you don't have answers, and you don't know how to find answers, and you just really feel helpless, like, this is the best you can do. It's really hard to see clear. It's almost like being in a storm.
Yeah, the chaos feels normal.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the PTSD fog. It's a fog. There's, we talk about solution consciousness and how hypnosis and NLP helps you, clear that fog so that you can be in hypnosis, solution consciousness. I had no solutions. There were no solutions. And the judgments of suicide, I put in my book. It's one of the first statements, one of the very worst questions you can ask someone who was in an abusive relationship is, why did you stay?
Yeah.
That is horrible.
They already ask themselves that enough, don't they?
They do. And it's a judgment, and they think they're being judged, but they are. But then they're like, I made a mistake yet again. I didn't do it right. Everything is wrong. What is wrong with me? So all these things, just it's the worst thing you can ask a person of abuse. Yeah,
Michelle, do you mind me asking, what is the name of your book?
The ABCs of Narcissism.
Oh,
The ABCs of Narcissism is one of my books. And the other one is Soaring Minds Workbook and Journal. And that helps a person go from a low place to a soaring place. Even if it's, I feel stuck, okay, start using the tools in the workbook. The workbook was created when I was in my low place, because I kept asking my local therapist, when am I going to be better? I need a date. How long is this going to take? I needed an end date. And she's like, whenever, because she's a peaceful woman, like, it'll be when it is, and you'll know.
But it's interesting, because even feeling that way, you were progressing. And that's one of the important things as a hypnotist or NLP practitioner, is that you actually help your client understand that these subtle yet significant changes are progressions. And that's what you focus on, right?
Yes, absolutely. But I was in such a low place that I couldn't. I needed to know. And so I needed to chart it, because I'm a first grade teacher. So I needed to chart my progress. And she would say to do something. And if I was able to do it, I gave myself, I actually keep stars. I'm looking in my desk. I have stickers that I, give myself. I give my clients. I chart progress, and I needed to chart my own progress of getting better. So I started making worksheets for myself, and I stuck them in my Soaring Minds workbook and journal. And both my local therapist and Dr. Charlie Curtis are like, these are great. You should get them published. And I'm like, okay.
I got my copy and I know that I love it.
All right.
I don't have a copy.
Oh.
I'll check that out. Yeah. So a real quick question, and this is probably going to be an easy answer, but do narcissists come and see you? And if they do, are you able to help them to make changes to recognize what they're doing, who they are?
This is one of my favorite questions. Can narcissists change? They don't want to. What they're doing,
they're already good. They're already good enough. Right? They're perfect. Yeah.
They don't care. But do they come? Yes. And they use the therapy world. They use hypnosis. They use the NLPers. They use psychiatrists and psychologists. And they're just wasting our time, because their partner who they're trying to string along will say, let's go to therapy. So they'll make an appointment, cancel. It usually happens in threes. That's not always. Sometimes they'll come longer, sometimes not that many times, but 3 seems to be the magic number. And they'll complain about the other person, or they'll try to be, a victim. And it's like, oh, no. And I can see it, like a mile away. And I'm just like, And if someone is coming to me and has already self-disclosed that, she's saying this, or he's telling me I'm this, it can be a man or a woman. And it doesn't matter what economic level, doesn't matter the education level, doesn't matter. It can be a man or a woman. But if they're doing that, I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to charge you, significantly higher. And it is significantly higher, because there's not going to be a refund. If you cancel, I have blocked this time for you. And if you cancel, there are no refunds. And
so you're cutting them off from being narcissists. You're not allowing them
they still come because they're playing a game. They don't care how much money they spend. Usually it's their partner's money, and they don't care. They don't care.
That they use that as a manipulation tool as well, like therapy.
Yeah. And then they'll go back to the other person to reinforce their toxicity. And they'll say, Michelle or whomever said it was you. Yeah. And I don't have to go anymore. First of all, never would I say that. Second of all, there's no therapist on the planet, or stress management counselor, or anyone who is a help provider would say, you don't have to come anymore. Never. Because let's just say they are the victim. We want to help you so that this doesn't happen anymore.
That also kind of needs to be their decision. They feel better, so they can make a decision to, say, I think that I can, use these tools and see how I'm able to manage my life, and come back if I need to. Right.
But the narcissist-like person will say, oh, they said, I don't have to go anymore.
Right.
Their pattern. It's what they say,
No.
Well, for our listeners who might be new to this conversation and this topic, could you maybe give us a few defining features of a narcissist, or maybe some signs to look for to tell if you're in a narcissistic relationship?
Well, your intuition is going to tell you. Your intuition tells you 100% of the time. The thing is, don't override it. I liken the intuition to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm from Hershey. So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Gene Wilder is in the big candy factory going, no, don't stop, telling all the children, to kind of settle down.
Be careful.
And those children are going all in, ignoring the advice and ignoring the suggestions that the intuition is saying. Your intuition is going to tell you who is toxic, who you're lying, this is truthful. No. Can
I ask you this, Michelle? When you are a person who's very innocent, though, you were, somebody who fell into it. Narcissists, don't they have a tendency to be somebody they're not in the beginning so that they can pull you in? And it's very gradual. So aren't there some gradual signs, though, for someone who is maybe naive or innocent and just believe they're in love? Because by the time they start the pattern, they've already kind of beat you down, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, well, they start the pattern from the get-go. If it's a first meeting at a restaurant, they've already started with the texts. You can see it in the text. Right. Oh, I've never had such a connection with anyone before. They're texts. I've never had such a meaningful connection. No, but you're not connected. Sorry. And at the first meeting, then the real life meeting, they are asking you a ton of questions, which you think is like a normal thing to get to know someone. It's an overabundance. They're evasive when you ask them questions, or their answers match you perfectly. You know, it's like, oh, my soulmate. No.
Red flag.
Yeah. Well, and then they want to spend that night with you, which everybody seems to be flattered by. That's a huge red flag. No, ladies, you are no one's vessel. Men, they're using you. They are using you.
Right. Well, know, I often tell clients, when they have a hard time saying no, that men aren't stupid. They're going to take whatever you'll give them. If you're going to lay it down in front of their feet, even if they don't care about you, they're going to take it because it's the design of, it's their design. I mean, that they're kind of driven by it. We're all driven by different things. Yeah. So it's easy for them to accept something and not necessarily care about you. So it is important that you establish some sort of relationship and actually see who's going to stick around before you do that. Use
the boundaries. Use your boundaries. Ladies and men who are struggling. I have lots of male clients, but the three of us happen to be ladies, so we're talking familiarly like this. But we are people who are victims in abuse tend to come from the people-pleasing world.
Right.
And now you have an abuser sitting across from you and they are guilting you. If someone starts guilting you right away or giving you a little dig, so one of those backhanded compliments, it's like, and you feel it. It's like, that.
Yeah. Was that actually a compliment?
Yeah.
That was good and bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. That right there. But the thing that if they're guilting you in any way in those first couple meetings, first of all, guilt shouldn't play a part in it, in your relationship. That's not good. And I'm an Italian. I was built on guilt. So,
and Catholic,
guilt is not good. What?
I said, and Catholic. You're a Catholic Italian.
I know. See, and the whole guilt thing. So it worked on me for 30 years. Not anymore. I hear it and I get like, I was at a restaurant on Saturday and I was eating it. And then I heard, I'm like, oh, I can't not hear when something's happening.
I know.
And so they started to leave and I'm like, excuse me.
I did. Did you really? I did. What did you say?
I said they were teenagers with parents, and the teenagers were discussing the one teenager's boyfriend, and the parents were trying to say, he's not good, and no, and she's like, but this, and he's like this with his parents too, and they're like, if he's disrespectful to his parents, he's not for you. No, because apparently he was disrespectful to them. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm here. I'm right here. Look at me.
I can help you.
So I didn't know when to interrupt, but they were leaving and I thought I must talk to them. So I did.
How'd the conversation go?
Very receptive, very good. Yes. I mean, and I would have been if that would have been me, I would be like, no, that's not me. No, because I'm not a victim. My life is perfect. Oh, and that's it. Yeah. We want the perfect life. We want the illusion. So inside the house, chaos and sadness and tears. Outside of the house, perfection. There would have been no conversation like that. None. My parents never knew. No one knew, which is why I didn't think anyone would believe. So that's also another red flag. If you feel like you have to hide sadness, I mean, don't go blasting when you're having a disagreement.
Right.
But, when you are forced to hide everything.
Yeah, there's a fine line between respecting your partner and not sharing every dirty detail and communicating things that are happening that are unhealthy. And that's not always easy to know what it is, huh?
When you're a victim, it's
right.
You don't know. Right.
What is your favorite technique to use with your recovery clients?
I use most, depending on what they're saying, what they've unloaded the most, then I'll choose one of our NLP things. I love using new behavior generator. I love the new behavior generator. That is one of my favorite NLP techniques, stepping into the power, imagining, playing it over and over.
Do you think maybe you have like a quick NLP trick that our listeners could participate in?
Maybe they can see that since you just brought it up. But let me go ahead and clarify to anybody who's listening that if you're driving or operating heavy machinery or babysitting or anything that you need to, keep your mind clear and straight, don't participate. But for somebody who can sit still in a quiet place, this might be a nice little time to try some NLP.
Yes. So what I have them do, obviously, if it was a session, they have unloaded everything, and I allow for my sessions, and I know it being a former victim and never having a voice, I give 2 hours for my first appointment.
I do too, even though we're not supposed to.
I know. It's like, I'm a former victim. I didn't have a voice. And now someone's listening. That's huge. That's huge. Talk about rapport building. That's huge.
Yeah. You do have to set boundaries with that too, though, because I have literally, when I started, sat in an office for over 4 hours listening, letting them, talk. And it's overwhelming for us too. So we do have to set boundaries and say, you can come back and tell me more.
Right. But the first one, I let them, my local therapist did that. So I feel like that's how I give back.
Paying it forward.
Yeah, there you go. So sweet.
I mismatch a lot of techniques. A lot of time it's not straight and narrow. So if you would be following an outline,
you just go ahead and do what you do, Michelle.
Okay, so I would have you go ahead and close your eyes, take your deep breaths, and step into relaxation. Go ahead and relax. You're allowed to relax. This is your time. Your time to just let go and feel the feeling of relaxing happening to your body, feeling it inside your body. And if there's anything that's feeling a little tight, you're allowed to use your imagination to go ahead and just cut that and let it go. Cut it and let it go. And feel even better as you breathe right into that spot. And then go deeper into that spot and deeper and deeper and deeper until it's just dissolved. And continue going into your relaxation because you're allowed to. And you can go ahead and notice your body maybe melting into the chair, the couch, the bed, wherever it is you are. You're allowed to notice your body just letting go. It's as if you've already allowed yourself to just let go now, feeling even better because you're allowed to. You're allowed to. And so go ahead, continue relaxing. And now, in your imagination, in your unconscious imagination, go ahead and imagine now that you're in a room and you see a book, because this is your imagination. You're allowed to imagine seeing a book on a desk, whatever this room looks like. Go ahead on over to the desk and see this book where you see your name now. You might be surprised to see this book. So go ahead now and open this book. That's right. You're just opening the book, and it happens to be your life, and it brings you great comfort to see all the highlights, the good things of your life. And you're allowed to review it and see all the successes you've had. Yes, your success. Yes, that's you. You did that. Good job. That's right. And the fact that you do have all these successes that you may have forgotten about from when you were little or a teenager or a young person, the fact that you have all these successes makes your heart feel full and happy and good. And so go ahead now, and as you are reading these successes that you've had in your unconscious mind, go ahead now and sit down, pick up that pen and add to it, because there's even more. You get to write now. You get to write now the future. So go ahead. Imagine all these successes that you're going to have. Maybe you are going to be the podcaster of the year. Maybe you are imagining writing your book, or maybe you are imagining giving speeches. I don't know what you are imagining or what you choose to succeed in, but you're allowed to go ahead in your unconscious mind and go, write. And as you're writing, go ahead and keep writing. This is your unconscious mind, your imagination. Feel good. All these good things are happening. So go ahead and continue writing. And now, as you're writing, your very essence floats up out of your body, just floats up, and you're able to see yourself writing. You're seeing yourself writing now. Now you're seeing yourself writing. Feels good. Yes, feels good to watch yourself be so happy as you write even more good things, all these good things as you continue to write from your imagination, from your unconscious in this book of success. That's right. And the more you write, the better you feel. The more you write, the better you feel. That's right. And as your very essence, your essence is floating above, it floats over to, in your imagination, this person that's been watching you from a distance, this person who loves you and cares about you more than any other person unconditionally. That's right. Loves you and you love them unconditionally. But you are writing, but your essence has noticed. And so wouldn't it be fun? Just go ahead and allow your essence to stand there and radiate the magic, feel the energy between you both now. You can feel the wonderful feeling of love from this person that's watching you as you write. That's right. And now go ahead, allow your very essence to just blend into this person. And now it's so cool. You get to see what they're seeing as you are writing. They're seeing you, and you're seeing as they see you with love. Wow. And you get to hear the thoughts they're thinking of you, all these loving thoughts. That's right. Oh, that's so nice. And you feel the feelings that they have, their energy for you. Wow. Your very essence is pulling this and allowing it to be absorbed. And your very essence now floats up out of this person, taking with your very essence all these good things, the things that they saw, you saw, they said, you heard, they felt, you felt, and now magically, effortlessly, easily floats back over to you and goes right back into you now. And you're able to feel this boost now go through you now. Feel that energy? It's as if you're boosted naturally, effortlessly, easily, and you're experiencing now this new sense of confidence. Feel it. Notice it. That's right. You might notice it now. Maybe now. Wow. That's so cool. That's right. Continue writing, but it's like, oh, what just happened? But you know in your unconscious mind that you are surrounded by love and support. You are surrounded by love and support and people who respect and admire you. That's right. People who respect and admire you. And you're allowed to be awesome. You're allowed to be the person you want to be, the you've always wanted to be. You're allowed to be this now. Yes. That's right. Feel that power. That's right. You've got it. And now you go ahead and stand up. Stand up. That's right. This book, it's going to keep writing itself. But you stand up and you see in your imagination, because it is your imagination, go over to the mirror. There's a mirror. Yes, in this room. And you notice the you you've always wanted to be. You notice you. Wow. You're even more confident now. You're even more authentically you. That's right. It's even better than when you started. Because the more you learn, the more you want to learn. And the more you learn, the more you want to keep going because your confidence is growing. And the more your confidence grows, the more you want to learn and the more you want to be the you've always wanted to be. So go ahead and step into that mirror, the mirror of your future, the mirror of the you've always wanted to be, because you are that you are that you. That is you. That's actually who you are now. And you're allowed to be that person, allowed to be free. That's right. That's your energy. You've got this. Go all the way. Go all the way as you melt right into this confident new you now. That's right. And so as I count from 5 all the way up to 1, not yet, but soon, when I start counting, you can actually feel how good it is to be this you here and now, because right here, right now, all is well. Right here, right now, all is well, and all is open for you. It's all open for you. And so 5, even better, even stronger, even more confident. That's right. That's who you are. Notice it, feel it, notice it in your body. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's a sensation, but you can feel it, see it, know it, hear it. And 4, authentically being you feels good. And maybe you're now noticing that you're even more authentically you, which means 3, which means sooner or later, you're going to just burst onto the scene with all this confidence, probably sooner. And the more you want to burst, the more you have to do this. You are led to be the authentic you that you've always wanted to be. 5, 4, 3, 2, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready to burst onto the scene? Because when your brain has allowed you to have all this new energy, all this new confidence, all this new authentically you, it's really you. And you're now allowed to feel it. And when your brain has allowed you to say, yes, now, yes, you can now go ahead 1 all the way up and allow yourself to feel it. Go ahead and open your eyes, take a deep breath, and continue feeling that confidence. Let it soar. Let it soar. Yes.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
That was amazing.
Such an excellent job.
I feel like there's nothing I can't do right now.
Well, that's right. You got it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for doing that. That was really amazing. And
That
I can
was
definitely see how that can help a lot of people. So thank you again for doing that.
Yeah, good boost of confidence and seeing and believing and feeling something different on that deeper level sure does actually change your countenance. It changes who you are from the inside out. Great job, Michelle. So happy you're joining
thank
us.
you.
And I was wondering if you maybe had any just quick words of wisdom for those struggling in a narcissistic relationship.
That it's okay to let go of things that are not resourceful, that it's okay to walk forward and leave people who you know aren't in your corner, leave them go.
Behind,
It's okay because other good people will come. I promise you it will happen.
You're not alone
And
in
another
this.
thing is,
Yeah.
you are not. And once you start letting go and you're stronger, your journey just starts and you take off. I promise you that. It's really a lot of
I
fun.
agree.
Once you
That's excellent. Excellent advice.
We're kind of coming full circle here. Once you start, like we mentioned in the beginning, once you let the baggage go, and all the toxicity and everything go, those amazing blessings can come to you.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're playing in the mud and you or on the beach and you pull the water and then it refills. It's almost like you feel like there's going to be an emptiness, but the water just fills it right away. And so that's how it is with these choices you make. When you start getting healthy, you feel the fulfillment and the confidence and the self-love and all of those things. When you focus on those things, it changes who you are. And a lot of times I tell people you don't have to be selfish to do that. It's because when you're better for everybody around you too. Right.
And selfish is good, especially when you're healing. Selfish is good.
Well, yeah, you need to take care of you first. This is your vessel,
Right.
This is your spirit, this is your life. And if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else.
And 1% better every day. You don't have to make huge jumps.
Right.
1%.
Yeah.
1%. For me, 1% was getting out of bed.
There you go.
At the
There you
beginning.
go. And isn't it awesome though when you did? Isn't it awesome when you
1%,
did?
1%,
Yeah.
1%. Yeah.
Mhm. And now you look back and you're just soaring high, aren't you?
Woo!
And that's why I think journaling is such a healthy and great way to heal, because that's a perfect way to see your progress when you think maybe you're not, because it's the 1%, but then 1% over time is 50% or 100% or however long.
Exactly.
And journaling kind of allows you to see your progress and recognize how far you've come. So.
Yeah, you look back and you go, wow, I can't believe I was in that state of mind, or I was in that place, and look how far I've come. Yeah. That's good.
Well, I think what we would like to go ahead and do now, something that we love to do with our guests, we do our fast fun facts. So our listeners can just get to know you on a different level.
Okay.
So first, are you a early bird or a night owl?
Oh, I'm a night owl. I am. And I used to feel bad about that, but then I heard that's when Dr. Wayne Dreyer, yes, chicken super. He writes at night. Yes, he writes at night. So I'm like, okay, if he can do it, he's
To each their own, right?
I think most people we speak to are night owls.
Yeah, I think healers have a tendency to stay up a little bit later. Yeah.
I think
I've always been a night owl too. And now that I'm older, my body wakes me up early. So I have to make myself try and get more rest. Yeah.
Like I'm both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know your zodiac sign?
I'm a Libra.
All about balance. Yeah. Perfect.
And I'm left-handed. So
oh, that's interesting. What is maybe the one song that gets you hyped up no matter when or where you hear it?
Oh my gosh, anything disco. Let's see. I love well, of course, Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
Perfect.
And just really anything with a good, it has a good beat and I can dance to it. That's for our older listeners. Yeah.
My kids would say I do the mama dance.
I love anything that gets me. I do love disco.
Awesome. I love it. And what's lighting you up and exciting you the most in life right now?
Oh, geez. This.
Oh, I love it.
I look forward to this. Oh my gosh, I was so excited.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Too.
And last but not least, if our listeners could walk away with just one nugget of information from today's conversation, what would you want that to be?
That right here, right now, all is well. Because right here, right now, all is well. And that's, obviously Emile Couillet saying, or every day in every way, better and better, every day in every way. So those things, just breathe. It's okay.
Go. That's good. Great advice. I have one I want to ask you just because of our conversation this morning on the phone. If you were a jelly bean, what flavor would you be?
My flavor, I'd be pink flavor.
Perfect. What about you?
I always liked root beer.
Yes,
I always liked root beer. I liked root beer jelly beans and root beer popsicles, whenever we used to eat.
Oh, yeah.
I like those too. I feel like mine's embarrassing. I don't want to tell you guys, but
it's popcorn. It's popcorn.
I like the popcorn one.
I never had it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. On the gourmet jelly beans, you get all sorts of flavors like that. Yeah.
Fancy.
See, I always had the drugstore jelly beans. We didn't have fancy gourmet. Yeah, we had the drugstore ones that kind of like ripped your teeth right out.
Okay, well, next time I come across some of those fancy ones, I'll make sure to grab you back.
There you go. Yeah, we'll send you some, Michelle. Hey, do you want to go?
What is it? I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
What's your favorite Hershey product?
Let's see.
Gotta be Reese's, product. Right?
Reese's, yeah.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Reese's.
Remember, I went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and watched the big tubs where they colored the M&Ms and got patches.
The Hershey's. Yes.
Yeah, and I got a shirt that said Reese's peanut butter cups, and everybody teased me because I was in high school. This was back in 76, 77. Yes. I was in high school, and I had a patch on the back of my pants that we ironed on that said Reese's Pieces. So people are Reese's peanut butter cups, and they'd say, "Hey, is those Reese's peanut butter cups? Can I taste?" Never mind, I didn't say that line.
Reese's Pieces, that was E.T., and then Reese's peanut butter. I mean,
what was yours?
I love. Name a product of Hershey. I love
all of them.
I've been eating a hand over fist Reese's peanut butter cups. I love Hershey Kisses because I put 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then I either bite down or I just let them melt. Yeah,
there's always a technique.
It's a whole thing.
So we're going to contact Hershey and let them know that you're the official spokesperson.
Thank you. I think that would be good.
I know you have a strong history with Hershey, and we respect it.
Yes.
Thank you.
And could you mind just telling us briefly where people can find you if they want to get your book or work with you?
Yeah.
I do have an Instagram that I'm just now trying to work. And it's the Narcissist Slayer, the _ Slayer. And I'm on Facebook as Michelle Williard Hoffer, but I'm also on Facebook as the ABCs of Narcissism and Soaring Minds. And on LinkedIn, I'm Michelle Williard Hoffer.
Okay. And what about your web? Do you have a web page?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. There you go.
It is www.soaringmindshypnosis.com.
Awesome.
And my email is Michelle, 2 L's, at soaringminds.me.
Love
There you
it.
go.
Me.
There you go. Me first. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, some people who hear that, they have a tendency to think that we encourage selfishness, but that is not what this is about. It's just caring for yourself and honoring yourself and respecting yourself and loving yourself and giving yourself the best life possible so that you can be that for everybody in your life. Right.
Right. Of course. And here's a little to jump on with that. Absolutely for yourself, because if you go into the people pleasing mode, they're taking advantage of you for themselves,
Right.
so
they're getting what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting what they want. No. And the minute you stop people pleasing, they're going to be angry. They are going to be angry because you are now doing something for yourself. You're not being manipulated or controlled by them. They don't like that. That's just, I had to throw that in there. Just had to throw that in there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think you also know when somebody truly cares about you because they're actually going to encourage you to care for yourself instead of being entitled and wanting more from you. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
There's all sorts of little deciphering keys, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're so good. We're so glad to have you in this community.
Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. And I just want to say it's such a blessing that you survived everything that you went through and you're doing the amazing things that you're doing now with it to help other people. And we both just find you really amazing and inspiring.
Well,
and
I love both of you so much.
We love you.
And we will be seeing you in Las Vegas at the end of July, HTL Live. That's Hypnosis or Hypno Thoughts Live. And it's their 10th anniversary. And I know you're going to be a presenter there, right?
Yes, I am.
And so are we.
Yes, you are.
So we're looking forward to all of this. It's just a great community.
To getting the gang back together.
That's right.
Continuing to educate people on all of the tools and modalities that are out there that not very many people are aware of. This is just awesome information. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I've had so much fun this morning with you, or this afternoon, this evening, whenever we're doing. I've had so much fun with you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Rise and Shine It's Hypnotime podcast. If you found some value in this episode and enjoyed it, please consider liking, subscribing, and giving us a 5-star review. Most people may not know that interacting with our content and our channel helps us to continue the work we're doing and reach more people. And we just want to thank you again from the bottom of our hearts for being such a loyal listener. And don't forget to tune in next week and every Tuesday for the latest episode of the Rise and Shine It's Hypnotime podcast with Deana and Suzanne. See you next week.